Peace, everybody. Mikey Ice and my brother Super Dave. David Lara. Lara?
David Lara.
David Lara. Dave, honestly though, bro, I've been posting you up on the Instagram for years though, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everybody was always tripping on, like they would coin you basically like one of the main dudes that they seen that they felt power, especially on the West Coast, was taken to like one of the highest levels. And even when I was recording you back then, I was really astonished by the way that you put your combinations together though. You know what I'm saying? I remember it was a Style Elements Gym in San Jose. Something Mayhem, Master of Mayhem?
Yeah, Masters of Mayhem.
Master of Mayhem. And I remember seeing you there, and I remember I was walking around with the camera and I was filming you, and you was like, "What's up?" And you was like, "What's up, Mikey?" And you was like, "Master Mayhem, I'm chilling right now with my boy Eric from Fresno." Remember you said that?
Yeah, I remember that.
And you was like, "When you go bust?"
I remember.
Right. This stuff like that, people don't realize how far me and you go back, and to me, you've always had a great energy. Every time I seen you, whether if it was Stockton, Los Angeles, like everywhere, I've always really appreciate that about you. You've never like act like you didn't know who I was.
No. Every time I seen you, I always said what's up and stayed in contact. And I appreciate everybody who was a dancer and everybody that I dealt with when I was dancing. Obviously, back in the days, I was a knucklehead, but I was still, trying to communicate, talk, and ask about other dancers and where they came from and what their experiences were as well.
Yeah.
I always liked and enjoyed other people's dancing and how they became dancers and how they evolved as dancers. I enjoyed that wherever I went.
Do you remember the first time you ever seen breaking physically with your own eyes?
Yes, I do.
When was that?
It was early 90s, so obviously I lived in, I came from the Bay Area, moved to Stockton, then from Stockton, my family, we moved to Galt. And the first time I seen it is actually, I used to play high school football, and first dancers was my boy Gabe Kobos.
Yes.
And his crew, Chaotic Styles. And we seen them at a rally, a bunch of the guys I used to hang out with, and it just like blew our minds. So we were like, okay, I want to do that. So
are we saying 93, 94?
92.
92.
Yeah. So I was like, I need to do that. So I was juggling football, playing high school football, and dancing at the same time, and then also playing baseball because I played baseball as well. So I was a sports guy, and that motivated me. And seeing them dance, seeing Gabe dance and his crew, Chaotic Styles, it was just a worldly experience. So what I had pictured in my mind, whatever I seen them do, I was trying to even do those moves.
Yeah.
And one thing that I was very lucky and honored to have is when I would see something or I seen somebody doing something, I was able to catch on right away, and I self-taught myself. So everything that I did, all the power, all the stuff that I did, nobody taught me. I self-taught myself. And just by remembering, because there was I never had any videos or anything like that to look at that time.
Do you remember one of the first power moves that you learned?
First power move I learned, I think I learned swipes is what I learned, and then I learned crickets next, and windmills.
Yes.
Those were the three that I learned in that area, but swipes were the first thing that I learned, and then it went to the crickets, and then obviously the flares.
Yes.
Came. That's how I learned. And that was just me remembering what they were doing at the rally, and I just went from there.
Right.
I didn't have any videos back then.
So with that being said, the early days, like in the Central Valley, honestly, bro, like the scene was like on fire. To me, the Central Valley felt like the Bronx. Yeah. Because every town that I would go to, there was a couple of crews. Yeah. All the towns.
Yeah. And that was the thing is when I started in high school and I got really good really fast, within the first like few months I was already like super advanced in dancing, and ended up battling one of Gabe's very close friends and crewmates. Michael Knight was his name, and I battled him in the cafeteria, and I beat him pretty bad.
Ooh.
And from there on, everybody knew me and respected me. And it was me and Gabe were the best dancers in Gaul. And then a lot of Gabe's friends were not dancing anymore, and I had my own crew that I created called Vicious Skills.
Oh,
And me and my boys would, because I was already driving at 16 years old. I had my license. So I was going to all the jams in Stockton, Lodi, Sacramento, Modesto, Merced, Manteca. I was going everywhere. And going and battling and doing events everywhere with Gabe. Gabe would come with me, and we would go to the jams. And a lot of the other guys that dance with me, Alan, Nathan, Tommy, Corey, we would all go break together. And Gabe is the one who actually introduced me to Ivan.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I met Ivan. And I would always see Ariston dancing at Vance. We always knew each other as dancers, but we never actually met. The first official meeting of me and Ariston is myself and Gabe went to go practice at Ivan's house in Modesto.
The one way out there in the country?
Yeah. And Ariston was there, and he was already there, so that's how we met, and that's how we became friends.
Right.
From Ivan.
So even talking about that, let's explain something to people.
Sure.
No cell phones, no GPS.
No, nothing.
When I used to go pick up Ivan,
Yeah.
I would just drive, and honestly, it was just by luck something would say turn
Yeah.
right. And it used to be so foggy out in the country that I couldn't even see.
You couldn't see nothing.
I couldn't even see. This is the winter
time. You had to go off of memory.
This is the winter time.
Yeah, and I had to, a lot of the times it was just like, oh, turn here, or turn there. Yeah, and you're like just going, and yeah, luckily, I got to, I went over there and I met Ariston, and that's how me and him became friends and started dancing together, and he introduced me to Boogie T, which is Valentino.
Okay.
And we were all dancing, doing our thing, and we would see Ivan at places, and be doing jams with him and stuff like that, and going and doing shows, because Ivan really loved my power and wanted me to be in a lot of the stuff that people were inviting him to go. He wanted myself and the Gremlins to go with him to go perform.
Yes.
So we would do battles and everything with Ivan, myself and the Gremlins, and sometimes Ariston would come with us, sometimes Gabe, but it was mainly me because I drove everywhere. I had my license already, so he would call me up or hit me up because I had a pager at the time, and he would hit me up and say, "Hey, Dave, come and meet me here," or whatever, and I'd pick him up and we would go to jams.
Right. And definitely. Nobody's ever spoke on them. I want to talk about the Gremlins real quick.
Sure.
Javier and Levier.
Yeah.
The first time I ran into the Gremlins, it was with Ivan at the California Ballroom.
Yeah.
And like the Gremlins, they had the vest. It said the Gremlins on the back. And I remember Ivan was like, let's pick me up and we'll pick up the Gremlins in series.
Yeah. They lived like at the end of series, almost in Turlock.
Exactly.
So they were out there.
Right.
They were in the cuts.
Right. And I remember like picking those dudes up. And what I really like, I can't remember who, Levier, Javier.
Yeah.
Like when they did their flares though, bro, it looked
Levier.
like. Yeah. His legs, his form was like, it was amazing. It was like, they weren't bent. Like his power, his whip, he had the clean halos.
Yeah. Clean halos. He had super powerful flares. And that's one thing that when I seen him, because he was kind of the guys that would always go and dance with Ivan everywhere we went, and we would go pick them up because they were kind of his boys that he would always practice with. So one of the Levier twins, one of the Gremlins twins, which was Levier, I always loved his flares and how he always did them really high, really clean. So that's where I picked up, where I wanted to make sure every time I did my flares and did my combos, I wanted to make sure they were just as dope.
Yeah.
Because his stuff was, it was just insane. His flares, his crab walks, his crickets, his halos. He would put his cross his knee or cross his leg onto his knee and be doing the halos while I was doing that.
Yeah,
it was just dope.
That. Yeah,
he was amazing. But all of us used to go do jams together, do shows together. Did a couple shows together in Patterson with Ivan and the Levier twins.
I remember
we
that.
all went together and we battled a bunch of crews out there. Actually, one crew versus the four of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. It was I think like 15 guys against myself, in the Levier, the Gremlins and Ivan.
Was it at a backyard party where
Yeah.
they had like the
Yeah,
checker
yeah.
floor?
The checkered floor, yeah.
Yeah.
That was back in the days in Patterson. We went and battled a whole crew versus us four, and DJ in the back DJing, and we were just getting down, and it was dope.
Yeah.
I had the gray dickies on with the black sweater, and we were just jamming. Ivan was doing his flips and his halos and his fast windmills, and Levier was doing his thing, and his brother as well, Javier. So we were jamming.
I remember the Reebok shoes was like your that was your secret.
The orange Reeboks.
Yeah, why'd you choose the Reeboks? You have black ones too, but I remember the orange ones.
The reason why I did the orange with the kind of like the white Nike sign is because when I was doing the power moves, you could see my feet. Because a lot of times when people had like the shoes on, you couldn't really, you couldn't really, everything blended in. So I wanted to make sure people could see my feet flying around, and I just wanted to be different.
Yeah.
And so people could see that, like, actually see what was going on. Because a lot of times, stuff blends in when you're wearing stuff, and I just wanted to be different.
That's true. Yeah. How did you get coined Super Dave? Or did you have another B-boy name before Super Dave?
I did, but it was mainly just my name. It was B-Boy Dave, and the one who thought of it was Ariston, because he was like, "Bro, you're flying around, you fly around like Superman." And then there was a guy at the time that was running around, which was Super Dave, Super Dave Osborne, which was the stuntman, and he would be flying around doing crazy stuff, and so we were thinking about it, and Ariston said, "Well, you should name yourself Super Dave." And I was like, "Yeah, that's dope. Let's do it." And actually, we were talking, I think, at the time with Wiggles and Kenny and all them, and that just popped up.
I wanted to ask you because I think in that interview you said your name was Dino.
Yeah, Dino. Yeah, Dino Dave.
Exactly.
And it was dynamic.
Exactly, because you said I do all the dynamics.
Yeah, and then we changed it on the fly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then I became that because it sounded better, and it came out cleaner.
Yes.
So we named myself that, and then we started going with that. But when we were growing up, myself and Ariston and Tino and everybody that I was dancing with, all the Galt guys that we would be going to like Grover's Hall to Triangle Flavor events together, and we would see Ivan at them, or we would meet up with him at them. We went to a Triangle Flavor event, and Ivan, myself, the Gremlins, Ariston, a bunch of the guys that I danced with from Galt were with us. And after the event, we weren't, I think it was myself, Ariston, Tino, and Ivan, and the Gremlins. Ivan, said, "Hey, I know this guy who, which he was talking about, Crumbs, Donnie. I know this guy that, I can introduce you guys to, and myself, he would let us use his garage to go dance." And we were like, okay. So we drove over there to Donnie's house, and Donnie answers the door. It was like midnight, and said, "Yeah, let's practice." Because at that time, Donnie was doing a lot of house dance, wanted to learn how to break dance, and that's how we met Donnie. So then we started kicking with Donnie a lot. Back in those days,
when he was with Lloyd and Stevie.
Yeah, with Lloyd, Stevie, and David Hufana. Those are the people he would hang out with.
Exactly.
A lot of house dancers. So, he started, we would kick it with him all the time. I would be driving from Galt to his house in Modesto, and we'd be staying the night, sometime, week or two straight, just staying there and practicing with him because, he had a floor, and, we became really good, close friends. And he would go to school, and then after school, he would come in the garage with us and, practice with us because me and Ariston were there just hanging out practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how we became to meet Donnie. And then after that, we started meeting, the Flow Rockers when we were going, because one of the people that we always wanted to battle and we always seen that we thought were dope were the Renegades. So our goal was to always find them wherever they were at and try to battle them. Because, Wicked, Jazzy J, Politics, we wanted to battle all of them. So one thing that we didn't have in our crew at the time, which was Style Elements, is we didn't have any popper. We were all breakers. And
Oh
so
yeah.
we needed a popper, and the Floor Rockers at that time were getting ready to disband or stop becoming, not really dancing anymore. And a couple of their members, we thought, good idea for them to join the crew so we would be stronger as a group. So a lot of times when we went and battled, it was myself, Boogie T, Ramine, and Crumbs. It
Yeah.
would just be us four battling and looking whoever to want to battle against, because we were always kicking it together.
Yes.
And then sometimes it would just be me, Ariston, and which is Ramine, and Donnie, which is Crumbs, would be just going to jams and battling people all the time.
Oh yeah.
So that's how we became our group. And the person who thought of the name at that time was Ariston. We kind of the thing when we would go to jams or do events with Ivan and stuff like that, he would just throw out a crazy name, or him and Ariston would throw out a funny name, and we would use it for our performances. So it was just a name that we would, like the Flying Tortillas or Children of Al Capone, stuff like that. Those are names that we were just made up on the fly, and we would use them to do our performances or whatever. So it was never originally a crew or anything like that. There was just funny names that we would, think of, or they would think of together, and then we would end up using it for the jam at the time.
That's what I do remember, because obviously I was around.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing like the funny names.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just kind of like whatever.
Like the Cockapoo, stuff like that.
Right, right.
It was just silly stuff as kids we were doing.
Right. So I'm hearing all this, and then I get a flyer in the mail, and Little Caesar said there's going to be a Radiotron in East LA.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said, so me just driving, I was like, I'm going to drive there, and you guys are already here in Modesto. So I drove from Madera to Radiotron by myself.
Oh, wow.
And when I get there, I see Tyrell in the hallway, Tiny, Spidey.
Yeah, I remember Spidey.
He was there stretching out and everything, and I was like, okay. And I seen Manuel, and they were the X-Men. And me, I'm just thinking this is going to be a dope event, and Little Caesar gets on the mic and said, we want the X-Men to battle Style Elements.
I remember that.
I didn't even know, that was the first time I heard Style Elements like as a crew in the battle. Yeah. Would you say that was the first time that you guys battle officially?
No. The first time we officially battled on that name and with that name is we battled the Renegades in San Jose.
Yeah.
At an event, and we used that name, and it was myself, Boogie T, Donnie, which is Crumbs, and Ariston, which is Ramine. We used that name when we battled Jazzy J, Politics, Sway, and Wicked.
Yeah.
In an event there. That was our first official time using that name in a battle together as a group. Yeah. After that, we stuck with that name, and we stayed with it because we were always making up names and trying to be funny, but it was time to, okay, people now know who we are.
Yeah.
And, have seen us, so we want to make it official and, start using the name consistently. So that's what we started doing at that time. It was, but we were just all the time just funny names because we all came from different crews.
Yeah.
And, had our dancers that we danced with. Like Ariston and Boogie T danced with each other with Triangle Flavor and PA. I was part of my own crew, Vicious Skills in Galt. Donnie had his crew with Stevie Lloyd and David Hufana. Yeah. They were doing their thing. We all had our own thing, and that was finally, you know what? Let's think of a name together because we were always together.
Yes.
We went everywhere together, and we were always just. We would go to raves together. We would go to freaking all Triangle Flavor events, and anybody we seen, we try to battle them to try to get our name out there.
Yeah.
And that's how it became. Our official time was in San Jose, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just remember my early memories when we was at Donnie's house, right?
Yeah.
And we was watching Battle of the Year, and Romain was like, man, he was like, I'll serve Storm, and Ivan was like, man, you ain't gonna serve nobody.
Yeah.
And they said, let's go to the garage. Yeah. So they went into the garage, and they battled. I recorded it, and then we went back into the room.
Yeah.
And Ivan was like, I smoked you in power. You ain't got no power. You don't got 90s. And Arista was like, I smoked you in dancing. Yeah. I could draw better. I could DJ. Yeah. He said, I could do a style to every element. Yeah. That was the first time I heard it come out of their mouth, and they was battling over the name, like who had more style. Yeah,
and that's how it started as far as that. But the original thing is kind of like the arguing over, who did what, but nothing was official. Nothing was anything. You got to remember, back in those days, Ivan was running around everywhere. He was doing his thing. He was part of Splash. He was doing
Jughead Tribe.
Jughead Tribe. He was anybody he associated with, he would
Floor
dance with
Rockers,
them. Yeah,
yeah.
whoever it was. So it wasn't really. He was our boy, and we hung out with him. We danced with him and everything. But he was everywhere. We knew he was everywhere. He was kind of like a on his own solo guy that would come in and out and hang out and chill. And but that's the thing is when he battled with us in Radiotron. He showed up and he came in the back room and was hanging out with us and wanted to battle with us, and we were like, okay, and there was like a big controversy over that because apparently he was supposed to battle with Renegades. But we've known, we danced with him and actually hung out with him and chilled with him and spent a lot of time with him because we were over from here. We were all from the same area of Northern California, and Renegades were from the Bay Area, which is hour and a half, 2 hours away from us. Mm-hmm. So he would spend more time with us than them. So, he came up to us and, he was like, I want to, battle with you guys. So he battled with us. Oh. And that's how that became what it did. I don't know what other stuff happened or any of that, but I just know when we were getting ready to battle, he showed up and walked in there while we were stretching and getting ready because we were getting ready to battle them on that floor. And we could have did a lot better, and same with Renegades. That floor was horrible. Yeah. It was so slippery because there were so many people there. We were falling everywhere. And we were ready. We practiced for them because we already thought we beat them in San Jose as the four of us. Okay. So we were ready to get our revenge because there was a couple times where myself and Gabe, there was events in Sacramento where Jazzy J and Wicked showed up, and I was calling out Jazzy J in Sacramento at events. So there was times that I was trying to battle him wherever I could because he was the power move guy that was the top guy at that time. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to do whatever it took to battle him. Yeah. So I tried a couple times in Sacramento and he just walked away. Oh, okay. So I always tried to make sure I wanted to battle him wherever I could. And that's how that whole event happened with them and with Radiotron. And, the X-Men was actually... Who was the people that the Renegades battled before that and won the championship through? Was it? I'm
trying to think. Freestyle.
Freestyle. So Freestyle, a couple of their members stopped, and so
Jared and Mark.
Yeah, Jared and Mark and them, they stopped, and a little bit of their crew was part of X-Men.
Right, which was Manny.
Yeah, which was Manny and them, and so. That's who they considered was because they were the previous champions before Renegades beat them. So that was their new name. So that's why we had to beat them because they were trying to do a X-Men / that crew to go against Renegades again. Oh. So that was originally going to happen. But Caesar loved us and said, hey, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to battle them. And if you beat them, then you guys go against Renegades. Because originally it was going to be X-Men that was going to go against them. Yeah. But we beat them to get to battle them, the Renegades in the next Radiotron. Whoa. That's how that all became what it did is because they were already their old crew that they were the original champions before Renegades, and Renegades beat them. So that's how that became that part of that event, and it was supposed to be an ongoing thing with the trophy getting passed every time, and then there was controversy with that with Ivan taking the trophy and. All of us were upset because that was something that we worked for.
It was crazy? I remember that day, Jazzy, he got ticked off and he walked outside and Caesar followed him. Yeah. And he had to talk with him, and I guess after that event, Jazzy was done. Yeah.
He was done with it. Because the thing was, originally, from what I heard and from what I was told afterwards from a lot of people is Ivan was going there to battle with the Renegades. Oh, okay. That was the original thing. But he didn't know us as Style Elements crew because we were always using different names. Oh. And we finally made that name official because he was out running around in Vegas. He was doing his Splash show. He was doing other stuff that myself and Ariston actually, he wanted us to do that with him, but we turned it down. So we were going to actually be part of that show. So that Style Elements was not going to be really doing anything. But we canceled it, and we ended up doing the events and stuff like that. and that's how that became what it was. He didn't know us as Style Elements.
Okay.
He didn't know we were using that name. And there was a couple other people that were Elements of Style and different different names that were similar. So he didn't know officially it was us. So when he seen us there, he's seen myself, Ariston, Donnie, all the people he grew up with and recognized. So he just went from the Renegades to directly to us, and like, okay, now these are my boys, so I'm gonna be battling with my boys. So I think that upset the Renegades because they were expecting him to battle with him.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah. He was supposed to be battling with him that
So
day.
Jazzy got that ticked off that he just quit.
Yeah. He was upset because it was a combination of stuff. But I think their crew, from what I heard, they had other people that didn't end up showing up that were supposed to show up as part of their crew. Mm-hmm. There was only a couple people that were there representing them. That's why I think Ivan was supposed to go with them to help them battle us. Because you see, we had a solid group already.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of us. So I think that upset them where they just, it destroyed Jazzy. Because it was, from my assumption, it was something that meant a lot to Jazzy, and Jazzy, they were expecting to beat us. Their plan was to beat us with Ivan. And I think that just all crumbled. So it screwed up everything. Screwed up their plan, is what I know.
The greatest story that never been told.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's the first time I heard that.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
I love doing this. I love doing this.
It's because you gotta remember, I dealt with Ivan a lot of the times. I would go pick him up, and he'd be in my car with me. We'd be talking, and he'd go with places with us a lot of the times with myself and Ariston. Mm-hmm. And Gabe Kobos. We would all be driving to jams together. We'd be going to Ken Crosby and his brothers and his cousins. We would be going to their jams all the time. Mm. And then I was, at that time, I was already trying to battle all kinds of people. I battled crews from Lodi, the Kid Caboodles. I'd be battling any crews out here to try to get myself out there.
Okay.
Because all the moves that I did, I self-taught myself.
Yeah.
Because there was no videos at that time. But when I got good, and then the stuff with the Battle of the Year stuff that started coming. So one of the things that motivated us, because we had videos from the Battle of the Year, so we'd be watching them. But we were watching Flying Steps and the Family, and one of the crews that we actually liked and thought were the super dope crew was the Family, and we wanted to go out there. We were thinking we were going to battle them, so we were prepared to battle them. So when we battled Southside Rockers, we were demotivated, and not only that, we'd been dancing all night. Since we got there from, I think the jam opened like at 10 in the morning, all the way from 10 a.m. all the way until the final battle at midnight, we were dancing that whole time, breaking. And we were exhausted already, but the thing was the floor was horrible up top because it was shaky and it was kind of like spongy. Yeah. So it was very uncomfortable. So it wasn't a good floor to dance on. But we were already demotivated. If you look at us, we're not even interested in battling Southside Rockers because we honestly wanted to battle the Family. That's what we went for. We were hoping to battle them. And then the next year they showed up and they battled, I think, Rock Force.
Yeah, they battled Rock Force.
Yeah. We wanted to battle them because they were the dopest crew we thought out there.
Exactly.
So we were pissed. We weren't even interested in being there at that time. That's why you see a lot of our faces. We're kind of just doing a little bit and then like getting out of there because we didn't think it was a fair battle.
Oh, okay.
Because we were expecting a whole different crew.
Yeah. Southside Rockers got blown up though, bro.
Yeah.
You can tell they gave up.
Yeah. They knew already, and that's the thing is it is what it is, and no disrespect to the Southside Rockers. I love them. They were cool guys. We hung out with them. We hung out with the South African crew as well. We were hanging out with everybody. Yeah. We were hanging out with everybody, enjoyed all our time there. But we were just disappointed because our expectations was to battle the best. Mm. And we knew they weren't the best, and it pissed us off. Yeah. So we were disinterested at the time. Oh, okay. So if you look at everybody's kind of not. Yeah. If you see us dancing, you will notice the difference of us actually. Oh, okay. If we're battling people that are on the same level or better or we want to beat them, you could see the difference. Mm. My combos were super short. I wasn't even trying to do long combos, and that's what I was known for, is doing really long combos. Oh yeah. Yeah, and so I didn't do him there because I wasn't even interested. Neither was Ariston. Donnie wasn't. Donnie was, he was hype. He was doing his thing. But Jay, all of us were kind of just disinterested. It kind of sucks, and it could have been more epic, but that's another story.
Right. So when you guys won Battle of the Year, like, what was the prize?
Well, originally the prize is we didn't get actually no prize. So what
Just
we
got
got,
a plaque?
we got a plaque, we got some posters, we got some jumpsuits, we got a PlayStation 1 that we couldn't bring to the United States because their power cords were different, so we had to try to sell them, which we did at the flea market. That's it. Other than that, our hotel and our flight was paid for by them, and that was considered our prize.
Yeah.
So we didn't get paid anything for none of it except just, whatever. They actually didn't have the stuff to give us at that time. They had to go to the warehouse, open it up, and give us stuff.
Oh,
because they didn't have any. So they gave us Kango jumpsuits, the PlayStation that was sitting in there, the PlayStation 1s that were sitting in there, and then some Kango hats to the guys who wore hats, and that's it. We didn't get anything. No money.
What was the reaction like with the crowd, like after you guys like seeing that style in Europe, like when the battle was over and people were interacting, like was people really amazed by USA?
Oh yeah, they were. So they already knew throughout the night. That's why we were already dancing in circles. Myself, Jay, Ariston, we went there early to practice, to dancing because we just love dancing. We didn't care if we had to battle later in the day. We wanted to dance. So a lot of the people that were there at the event already seen us dancing and already knew what we could do.
Okay.
So they were already. That's why the screaming and everything, because they already seen us throughout the night and knew how we danced. So it was no surprise to them already. So they were already. That's why you seen so many people that were on the stage that wanted to see us dance because they knew how we danced already and knew. Like Black Noise, they were in the same hotel with us, and I sat hours upon hours with them, helping them with their moves and helping them fix certain things and how to do flares correctly or the way that I did them that were dope and certain ways to do certain things. And so I would just be helping them with stuff because, I just would help anybody that was a dancer to try to improve themselves. And that was one thing that I did. So I hung out with them, so that's why they were on stage and wanted to watch us battle because they seen when they were practicing with us and in the circles with us, they seen how good we were.
Yeah.
So they already knew. So it was no surprise to anybody that was there. They were looking forward to us dancing already when we were in the battle. They already knew how good we were as dancers.
Yeah.
Because we had already been dancing. We already been practicing with the other crews and going places at gyms and stuff like that to go practice.
How old were you at that time?
I was
18?
18 turning 19. I was about to be 19.
And you was out of school?
Yeah, I was already out of school. I was already done with school and everything. I was already actually married at that time and lived in Arizona.
Oh, shoot. I didn't even know that, though, bro.
Yeah, I was already married. And I had my son, my first son, who was born 1 pound, 11 ounces. So he was in the NICU while I was out at this event.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was a lot of stuff going on, but it was a big moment for us, to be overseas and battle.
Was that your first time overseas?
Yes, was in Germany, yeah. And then after that, we went to the UK, we went to France and stuff like that. We were going to doing other events, battling other crews, and Ivan went with us to a lot of those events.
Yeah.
He linked up with us and wanted to come and
do
the event. So we've known him forever.
Yeah.
As far as when it came to dancing, but that's how that became what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So rewinding back,
Sure.
B-Boy Summit 2, I seen the footage. Easy Rock, with the burgundy outfit, killing flares, power moves. They battle Imperial Breakers.
Yeah.
Rock Steady.
Yeah.
I remember watching the tape, and I remember Ramon was like, I'm going to the summit the following year, and he's calling out Rock Steady.
Yeah.
So with that being said, me, Vietnam, and a dude named Sam Shakes, we take the Amtrak from Merced and we go to San Diego.
Yeah.
We get to San Diego at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
The summit don't start until like 12 or 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We slept in Denny's until the morning, and we went from Denny's to the B-Boy Summit. And we were just walking, and only how we found the summit is that we seen everybody with Adidas outfits. So we followed them to Balboa Park.
Yeah.
That's how we got to the summit.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Romain had a story. He was saying that the B-Boy Summit, like, you guys almost didn't make it because the car broke down on the Grapevine.
My car.
Can you tell me the beginning of that story? I want to hear from Super Dave.
So obviously I was the one who was driving all the time. So I went and picked up Gabe because obviously we lived in Galt together at that time. I picked up Gabe. From Gabe's house, we went to Donnie's house because Donnie and Ariston were there practicing and stuff like that already. And one of our other boys that was kind of a dancer but wasn't, that hung out with us from Modesto, they all piled in my car as well. We were all in the car together. On our way, I had a Volvo at the time. We were driving, and my car breaks down. It's actually right before we get to the Grapevine, that little gas station area.
Yeah.
It started breaking down, and we pulled in, and we got in there. And I called my dad, because my dad was a mechanic, and said, hey, Pops, can you we got to get to this jam. Can you come over here and help us?
He came all the way from here?
Came all the way from Galt and drove to right before the Grapevine and fixed the car, and we just kept going. Boom.
So if he wouldn't have came?
No, we wouldn't have made it because the car was done.
That would have changed the whole entire history though, bro.
Yeah. So he came and fixed it, and we got right back on the road, and we were driving, and that was the thing. It made us actually almost late to the event. We got there right when the event started. So we pulled into the carports, and right in the carports, I was driving, no sleep. We were tired, exhausted, everything. Got out. We all changed right there in the carport to our outfits that we were in that you seen us in the event. So we changed right there in the carport and walked directly and started dancing immediately. And we happened to see, Floor Rockers, and which was Poe and all them, and Quality was there.
Jay and Flea.
Jay, Flea's little brother. John Boy was there. They were all there. Rabbit was there.
Hector Rockwell.
Yeah, Hector Rockwell. So we already knew, and they were familiar to us. So we went and hung out with them.
Oh, okay.
So we were there with them. And that was the thing, is me and Flea, because we were, both powerheads, we would always, when we would go to San Jose, we'd practice together, so we were cool with each other and everything, and hung out. And he went out, because he wanted to call out, actually, Easy Rock.
Yeah.
So that was his thing. He wanted to call out Easy Rock, and so when Easy Rock went out, he went out right away. And Flo went out right away after Flea, and so I went out, because, I was trying to back up my boy, because I seen that I seen that Flo went out for his boy Easy Rock, because Easy Rock was part of Rocksteady at that time, and that's how that battle begun. And then Ariston came out to, have my back, because Kenny and everybody else started going out, and we were going out back and forth, all of us. We just kept going out. We finally got Donnie to go out. We finally got my boy Gabe to go out, because Gabe was with us.
I remember
Paul went out a couple times. But that was already when the battle was dying down.
I think Donnie came out twice, huh?
Yeah. It took us a little bit to get him out there, because you got to remember, this was his very first big battle.
Yeah.
In front of a bunch of people. So
3,000 people.
Yeah, he was nervous, but he did dope. And that was the thing, is I was kind of pissed, because I knew how good he was and how good he got. It pissed me off because he wasn't out there with us.
I got the footage where you was like, man, Donnie wouldn't even go out.
Yeah. I was pissed because we were battling them, and that's we talked about that.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of funny, after the battle and everything was done, because you got to remember, they had an after party battle, or after party,
yeah.
and it was at another hall. So, but the Renegades showed up after that circle died down, and they came with their backpacks and their helmets and Wicked, Jazzy, Paul, and all them, and we were trying to battle them after we just got through battling them, and they didn't want to battle. They just walked away from us.
Okay.
We were trying to call them out.
Right.
So that's how that went down. We were still trying to battle.
Right.
We were like, we didn't care who it was. We were down to battle whoever.
Right.
And when we got into, we were hoping, because we didn't have no tickets to the after event, none of that. We actually, I think it was Caesar, had us come in with him, walked us into the event with him, and said, no, they're with us. And we walked in because we happened to see him in line.
Oh, okay.
And so we said, hey, you know, we don't have no tickets. How can we get in? You know, and he hooked us up. And we went in there because we were hoping the Renegades were going to be there because we wanted to battle them there.
Right.
Because that was our rivals at the time. So we were hoping that they didn't show up.
Oh, okay.
We were hoping they were going to be there.
So I want to share the story with Corey Montalvo, which is Icy Ice.
Yes.
Okay. Dave comes out at the B-Boy Summit, does, to us, everybody that's watching, one of the most iconic sets. Flair, 1990, Windmill, Flair, back to Windmill, all right?
Yeah.
1990.
So I did Flair 90. I was originally going to do a Flair, but the floor was kind of funny, and it was like ovalish kind of,
Yeah.
and it was tiles.
Right.
So I kind of slipped. So I came down to a Windmill instead of, you know, back to another, because I was going to do Flair 90 Flair. Came Flair 90 and I dropped down to a Windmill. So I landed a little rough, but I kept going back up to Flair, and then I went down to a Windmill to 90, came back down to an Icy Ice.
To the Icy Ice,
Yes.
bro.
Yeah.
And it was one of the longest Icy Ice because at that time,
Yeah.
everybody went crazy at the summit. I'm sitting front row.
Yeah.
And that changed the momentum of the battle.
Yeah.
So that was actually the highlight of the B-Boy Summit was you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was something, that was my longest one I did, but I was so hyped that